I feel like we were saying.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. Okay. So this last Sunday, Phil, talking on trust, I felt like there was some pretty solid. What came to mind through all of this? Let me just get this going. It often feels like, and I know I'm guilty of this too, that we just forget that we have an all-powerful, all-knowing God whose glory is for our good.
Yeah.
And then this conversation of trust, it's like you really have to step back and think, what's actually going on here, and why am I not truly making this a part of I must not believe this to the core of who I am, or else I'd be living so different. Like people at the end of their lives facing death, they have nothing else. Like why would I stock up in anything else in my life when I'm at the end? And then they either go like path of bitter, path of scared, or those who do follow God and fully like lean in is just I'm free. I'm alive.
So much peace.
There's so much peace. And it's like for that to be the level of us to reach that trust is crazy.
Yeah.
Those were kind of like standout pieces for me. I'm guilty of that too. I often don't invite him into the moment by moment spaces of my life, which is just weird. It's just weird.
Like, why not?
Yeah, because all my theology points one direction, and then my day-to-day just points in this. He doesn't care about that. You know?
And life is busy,
yeah.
Right? And often we're going from one thing to the next and don't even pause long enough to think about what we're doing or what we think about what we're doing. And we just keep charging forward through our day and maybe at some point realize, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to Jesus at all today. So I loved Phil's emphasis on practicing that connection and intimacy with God in the day-to-day and in order to be comfortable and prepared and ready for when crisis hits. I love that.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things that Phil said was he highlighted how, Hezekiah is in this huge crisis moment, not just for himself, but for the nation when they're surrounded by the army from Assyria. Everybody goes out and talks and all the threats happen and they come back and report to Hezekiah, and his immediate response was just tremendous grief. And he tore his clothes and put ashes on his head, signs of grieving and mourning. And then he went to the temple to talk to God. And Phil paused in that moment and said, Hezekiah felt that moment. He felt the weight of it. He allowed himself to feel it. And then he moved on and went to God. And I don't know why that struck me so much, but there's so much relief in that simple truth that it's okay to feel the weight of the crisis. There's nothing wrong with that. The question is, where do you go next?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we've been through crisis. We're going to again. Maybe it's personal. Maybe it's someone we know. You get that phone call or that message or that event and your heart sinks.
Yeah.
A little bit of overwhelming feeling. Maybe it's an adrenaline rush. Maybe it's panic. Like those are all normal human responses to really bad news.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes in the language of the church, we try to tell people you shouldn't feel those things. Like if you really have faith, if you really believe in Jesus, you won't have those feelings. You'll just immediately surrender all of it to God.
Right.
And everything will be great.
Right, which is a great Bible answer.
Great.
To
and
a
very
degree.
shallow.
Very shallow Bible answer. Doesn't understand the full thing yet.
So I so appreciated the way Phil said, no, it's okay to experience those feelings. You're going to. If you're actually human and you're tuned into your emotions, you're going to feel all of the stress and the grief and the weight and the panic that comes from a real crisis situation.
Right.
That's okay.
Which I love when we actually get to do that in Scripture and where it's like, oh, these are real people living and feeling exactly like we do. Like there is no shift there. Maybe culturally there's some shifts that, interact with those realities that we live with. But nonetheless, it's all still the same skin and bones type stuff that we're dealing with in that space.
Right. They're just humans.
And there's also like another one of those pieces, like what it takes to build trust, to even be someone who does that, it's in relationship.
Yes.
And it's in a lot of like taking steps of, okay, I'm going to allow a moment of trust to build here.
Yeah.
And so what I love about the crisis piece is like, that is what is being played out here, is daily, moment to moment. I'm going to allow just like a little bit more, and get more comfortable in that, to where it then, the second nature is that, well, this is my A team. Like, I'm going to my A team in crisis regardless, you know?
That's right.
Yeah. And there's a lot of us who, when we don't practice that in any of our relationships, have nowhere to go.
Right.
And we implode.
Right.
I feel like historically that is true for me, is being an imploder.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true for our culture.
Yeah.
You feel like you don't have anyone to go to or anyone to run to. All you're left with is yourself.
Yeah.
And in a moment of crisis,
it looks like
you're
fight
not doing too
or
good.
flight. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm thinking a lot about that.
Do you watch Survivor?
No.
Okay, I do. we got really into it, I want to say like 5 years ago.
Okay.
You know that time when we were all inside that
Yes.
and we had TV?
Yes.
Yeah, we got really into it. And there's this one thing that happens where it's like people are really good. This kind of applies to that story as well. People who are really good at manipulating a situation will push you to do something immediately, or they'll say something that gets you to just like swing. And the people who always outlast those type of moments are those who are patient and those who are calm and are like, that's what he said. That's not fully what the situation is. He's just a person. He's just a human. And the whole attack against God and saying, I'm going to take down your God too, in that story, the little G gods that he's taken down.
Right.
It played out like a Survivor episode.
Interesting.
Where it's
it
like
was totally
this,
manipulative.
Yeah, it was totally manipulative and trying to create this fear over them, which, the army was powerful, you know, like it wasn't for nothing, but he didn't know. Yeah. He didn't know who he was up against.
Yeah, he didn't.
It was like David and Goliath. He did not know who he was actually up against in that moment, you know?
Right.
And so it's like, when we believe God is who he says he is, and when we believe that he's true to his word in that, and we can trust it, then we're understanding that we have master of all against whatever you got in that moment.
Yeah.
Which should be the most like, Braveheart situation of our lives.
I love how you pulled out the patience piece.
Yeah.
Because I think it's really hard for us to be patient with God.
Yeah.
Right? We're not a very patient society. We're very instant gratification. So patience is hard to begin with. But I wish in the story of Hezekiah, I wish we knew like how many days went by between some of those events.
Yeah.
Because like it was a slow world and a slow culture. And so like how long did it go between the army showing up and Hezekiah getting the bad news, they're going to kill us if we don't surrender, and then going into the temple, and how long did he stay? And how many days until Isaiah showed up and said, okay, this is what God's going to do? Like weeks?
Yeah. Seriously.
But that when you've cultivated that trust, then it's so much easier to wait on God and his answer or his provision.
Absolutely.
Because we've seen him show up before. So, of course, he's going to show up again when he's ready. Yeah. Not when I'm ready, but when he's ready.
Right.
I don't like that. I really don't. I don't like waiting on God.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when there's tension and problems. I mean, I feel like there's a clear line, like in finances as well. Those who react very quickly around things typically have the worst financial situations.
Reactionary,
Yeah, more reactionary than just being patient and open with it. So, is there anything from that you feel like this is a new practice I want to adopt going forward with that?
Well, I'm not looking forward to my next crisis, but my hope is that in my takeaway, I give myself a little more grace when I immediately react, maybe poorly, out of my human nature, and that I will remember, like, oh, hold on, this literally is just my human emotion, and that's okay. Yeah. So let's let this calm down a minute and process this with God. whatever that
Yeah.
means. Whether that's, I like to journal. I like to get my notebook out and just write down, like, here's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
God already knows, but
Yeah.
it's a way for me to process.
Oh, that's good.
Here's what happened.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm afraid of,
Mm-hmm.
or worst possible scenario outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And then start to say, okay, God, what are you going to do with this?
Mm-hmm.
I know that the worst possible outcome doesn't have to happen,
Right.
but God, what are you going to do? How are you going to show up?
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I hope will happen.
Mm-hmm.
But to have that patience to wait on what God's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when I've been in seasons of struggle or hard things or whatever, like sometimes God shows up right now
Mm-hmm.
in the midst of that
Yeah.
moment in crisis and sense of the Holy Spirit's presence and reassurance, and that's awesome. And sometimes it's a long time
Mm-hmm.
before I see what God's doing,
Yeah.
what way He's going to use
Mm-hmm.
that crisis for His good and His plan.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like, I got to give myself a little bit of grace to panic for a minute,
Mm-hmm.
but then that simple practice of, okay, I need to talk to God about this,
Mm-hmm.
and I know He's listening.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved how Phil drew out at the very end, like, the second crisis in the story was Hezekiah's illness,
Mm-hmm.
and Isaiah proclaimed, hey man, you're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And Hezekiah turned his head to the wall, and he prayed,
Mm-hmm.
and he wept.
Mm-hmm.
And then Isaiah came back. And again, I wish I knew. Was it like
How
he
long?
was on
Yeah.
the way out the door and he
Yeah.
turned around and came right back in? Or was it a week or a month?
Mm-hmm.
But Isaiah came back and said, this is what God said, I have heard your cries, and I have seen your tears. Like God knows, and He hears us.
Yeah.
But we got to wait for His timing.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's just that little bit of trust of, oh yeah, God's listening.
Mm-hmm.
He knows.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's good. I feel like I got to trust just how smart God is. There's times, and I don't really think I'm that smart, but in crisis, it's like I'm the guy to get this done. And part of it's like personal responsibility even, which is not bad. That's a good thing to take up.
Yeah.
But that's like taking it in stride with God and his steps that He makes for me.
do you think sometimes God's just waiting on us?
Yeah. Oh yeah, patiently.
Yeah.
Like all the time. I think He's still waiting.
The solution is right there. I'm just waiting for you to grab hold of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
But like understanding that he's there are simple solutions for simple things sometimes.
Yeah.
But often life is complicated, and He cares about all of those pieces because God's passion for us and care, like his true desire for us is so deep that He's willing to go all 9 yards and wait on us to get there and work it out so that it's not just this thing, but it's a lot of things. It's our own flourishing and our own dependence on Him that gets worked out in that spot. So it's relying on that a little bit more. That like there's more going on here than just the thing that I'm panicked about.
Yes.
And He's going to see all of it through, not just the one thing, because He cares about me. And then,
Yes.
yeah,
I love that.
me too. All right, good chat.